all the times I got in trouble because of my drinking and stuff like that, they would send me to AA meetings, and I would sit there and I'd be like, I am not that bad. I'm not going to sip alcohol out of the medicine cabinet. I don't. No, I'm okay. I can still have regular beer. I still drink regular liquor. I'm not looking for the alcohol content in medicine and stuff like that. What is wrong with these people? How did they get here? Not knowing that you're headed here if you don't get your life together. It was crazy. I had to go through so many AA meetings. I had to go through addiction and alcohol counseling, where it's almost like being a manipulator, because you start from going through stuff, you start to learn what to say to them for them to think that you're okay, even though you're sitting there lying. Like, do you drink 1 or 2 times a day? Do you drink occasionally? Do you drink? Well, it's like, duh, if I say 1 or 2 times a day, I'm going to have to come back here. So occasionally, I drink occasionally, knowing that after I finish here, I'm going to need a drink because this is so annoying. And you don't think you need help because you're constantly looking at somebody that's worse than you. But you have no idea that that person was sitting here one day, just as you are today, thinking that that person is way worse than me. I don't have a problem. Christ worked because I felt like that was the only answer. I didn't go seeking Christ, and people made me go get help because they thought I needed help, even though I didn't think I needed help. And even in the points where I was like, maybe I am going a little too far, maybe I need to tone it back a dial, it was always me trying to help myself. Or in those situations, it was like somebody else trying to help me. And one thing about us as human beings is, regardless of how much we try, we're always at some point going to stand in our own way, because stuff is hard. It's too hard to do on your own. It's too hard to even do with the help of another human being. That's why you see sponsorship fail sometimes, because it's like, I could be in a moment and I could want to drink, but what happens if that same time my sponsor is in the moment? We can't really help each other. With Christ, the burden was lifted off of me. It wasn't me trying to help myself. It wasn't somebody else that I could look in the face trying to help me. It was something that I couldn't see that completely took over my life and transformed me from the inside out, to the point where I no longer felt like I'm struggling with drinking. It took it away to the point where I didn't need or want to drink. I think like the biggest turnaround started when I started reading the Bible for myself, because pastors and stuff like that, they all have their place in the circle, but somebody might get a different interpretation than what God is trying to put in you when you sit down and read the Bible. Your pastor could be preaching on something, and it could be the same scripture that God had you open up that day or that night, but there's something different that he wants you to personally receive from it. So to me, it's imperative to have that personal relationship. Church to me is for fellowship. And if you need somebody to lean on, you need somebody to talk to, it's always a good resource. But there is never, ever going to be a better resource than your own relationship with Christ. There's nowhere you could be in life, and there's nothing that you could do, even if it went down to people murdering people or the most heinous and ridiculous things that you can think of. Nobody is above redemption. Christ accepts everybody. So even if you think you've reached the lowest point that you could go, even if you think you've hurt more people than anybody has ever hurt in life, even if you think you are the worst person or the scum of the earth, because that is what man has conditioned you to think of yourself, or because of things that you've done, Christ takes everybody. That's not just a slogan to get people to church. That is true. And if you ask him to help you. In my case, I didn't even have to ask. He was like, we're doing this. If God did all of this with me, think about how much more he could do with you.